Wife and I decided to try for kids last year. Found out I'm completely infertile without surgery. 5 months later she got pregnant. I literally do not know what to do. My wife and I have been married for 3 years, together for 6. She's always been one of the most amazing people I've ever met. No huge fights, love languages match up, and we're both fairly active people, which has been why we've always had a really strong relationship for so long. That's why this is so difficult for me. We've both been doing pretty well in our careers the last few years. She's in marketing and I work independently as an IT consultant, allowing me to set my own hours and be pretty flexible. We decided last year that we wanted to start a family, her most likely keeping her job full-time and me scaling back to part-time. We've both been anxious but pretty excited to have our own kids. Long story short, I was diagnosed with azoospermia last December. Blockage in the pipes just meant I wasn't actually producing any sperm when ejaculating. It's curable with surgery thankfully, and we finally got it scheduled this July. She's got a high sex drive as do I, so we've still been very sexually active, but there should have been no way I could have gotten her pregnant. She missed her period this week. I couldn't imagine that she might actually be pregnant, right? The babies are bottled in until they get the blockage out. She took 3 tests though, and sure enough they're all positive. At first I was stunned, because this shouldn't be possible. She's never been unfaithful to me in the past and never given me a reason not to trust her. I'm not the jealous type, but I'm literally stuck. The doctors said this couldn't happen. And I can't believe my wife would jeopardize the future we've been so excited for over some fling when we seem to have such a great emotional and physical connection. My wife's been ecstatic. She's given no indication of any guilt or worry that she may have cheated. She was so excited when she first found out that I didn't express my worries then. But she left for work and now I feel completely torn. What if she did cheat? Looking back now, there's a few tiny things that didn't seem to be an issue but now have me racking my brain for clues. Her job often has her taking clients out for dinner and it's not uncommon for her to get back later in the evening. She definitely had a busy last few months, but that's not uncommon for her job. She always wears one of the same 2 perfumes, but she came back one night smelling completely different. I remember seeing a text message on her lock screen of just a winky face, a different time, but assumed it was one of her girlfriends. Fuck man, I don't know what to do. I set up an appointment on Monday to see if there's any chance it could be mine. If it is mine and I accuse her of cheating, I feel like the world's biggest asshole. But she's coming home in a few hours and I don't know what I'm going to say to her. I can't stop thinking of these small things that may have been her cheating and I just didn't see it. Do I wait until the doctor appointment Monday before talking to her, or do bring up these insecurities while she's celebrating the pregnancy? I'm worried I won't be able to hide what's going on. ComNet. I'd say you should wait for the appointment. Biology can surprise us sometimes, but prepare for the worst case scenario. Yes, very similar story for a friend of mine who was almost 50. Tried IVF, etc. many times. They finally told her that it was impossible. About a year later, she started complaining about throwing up in the morning, and she started getting fat, and what do you know, beautiful little baby girl. I was married for 5 years, never got pregnant during that time. I had been in a few other long-term relationships and had never gotten pregnant. I was told that it would be very difficult, next to impossible, for me to ever get pregnant. Got together with my husband at the age of 39, got married and 5 months later I was pregnant. Haven't gotten pregnant again and it's just as well. I'm turning 50 soon. Is it your count that is low? Because as long as you can have normal sex as in you and like everyone else, then the probability is always there. If so, then your count might be so low to the point that the percentage is so small to get someone pregnant. It is possible, but doctors rely on science, and if the probability is extremely low to the point that it doesn't seem probable, they will tell you it's impossible to get your wife pregnant. Think of the lottery. You probably won't ever win, but it can happen, and it does. We see it on the news all the time. Someone wins the lottery. But I don't want to speculate too much. I asked my cousin, who is only a surgeon, so it's not her specialty, but this is how she explained it. So me. Hopefully this can keep you grounded. Tell your wife your concerns in front of a doctor. She can't hide the truth from you for long. A doctor will be able to talk about probabilities, and most importantly, the truth will come out when the baby is born and you can get a test. Next story 2. My marriage is based on a lie. My entire family, including my husband, is implicit in it. I want out. I have no idea how to. I will try to keep this short. My family and my husband's family are members of a fundamentalist Christian denomination, of the type that views women's roles as exclusively to be a helpmeet to their husband and to raise children. I don't think people realize how dark that world is really, but I won't get too much into it. Let's just say that unless you've been super brainwashed or actually somehow believe it, it's not a good place for women, or kids, or really anybody. I was homeschooled for my whole life and rarely had any interaction with anyone outside of the circle until I was 18. I wasn't allowed to talk to people who weren't from my church unless it was for the purpose of trying to convert them. From an early age I knew I was different, and by puberty I was crushing on girls and having sexual thoughts and feelings about them. After reading my diary when I was 14, my parents sent me to conversion therapy, which was an awful experience and obviously didn't work. Between the ages of 15 and 18 I attempted suicide 11 times. After being released from the hospital the last time, my parents essentially farmed me out to family friends to help with their children and to attempt to find someone to court me. When I was there I had unmonitored internet access for the first time and joined an LGBT group locally under a pseudonym and started going out to meet people when I could, since the supervision was more relaxed than it was with my parents. At one of these meetups I met a girl who I fell completely in love with and started dating her in secret. This was in April of 2017. Fast forward to when we had been dating around 8 months. It was around this time of year and we went out to a Christmas light festival in a neighboring town. Usually people from our denomination don't go to that kind of thing because it's not God-honoring, but friends of the people I was staying with saw me there with her and told them. By the time I got home that night my parents were there waiting for me. 2 months later, after being forced back home and having everything taken away, I was introduced to my now husband, and by May of this year we were married. I don't love him. He doesn't love me. He 100% buys into everything that the religion teaches, but had a failed courtship and then did mission work. He's literally told me that the only reason we are married is because he feels like Jesus's mission for him in life is to heal me. It's been 8 months of absolute hell. Everything I do is approved by him. I only have friends who are the wives of his friends or are from church. I don't have a job. I literally keep a box that I told him was a hope chest and put enough baby things in that he doesn't know I have a tablet and books that I'm not supposed to have. I know that this isn't really the typical kind of thing that gets posted in this board, but I'm desperate. I've been talking to my girlfriend again since I got the tablet. I've been trying to mend things with her. I know that I need to get out of this situation, but I have no idea how to. I'm afraid I'm going to get dragged back into this hole again and I can't. I am hoping that this board might have people on it, even just 1 or 2, that can help me to leave safely and permanently. It's hard because if I do go I have to basically build my life over again from scratch, and I don't have any family or anyone who would help or support me in any way. Comnet. Am really concerned that your husband is forcing you to have sex with him against your will. Cults like the one you describe tend to have traditional views on sex being a requirement in the marriage, and that you can't ever say no. If he is having sex with you that you don't want, that is rape. Even if you say yes because you are scared to say no. No one has a right to your body, not even your spouse. My ex-husband would wake me up very early to have sex, despite me being sleep deprived because of having a baby who cried all night. I remember lying there, crying silently, in pain because we'd been in a car wreck and I had severe whiplash and everything hurt. I only had sex with him because he would not let me sleep until he was done. It was only years later that I was told that was rape. I told him no, but he badgered me for ages until I would give in. What I am trying to say is that sex that you do not want is assault, even in marriage. Not having sex with your husband is even more important now because you absolutely cannot afford to get pregnant at this time. A baby will tie you to this man for 18 years or more. Do not let him try to talk you into it. Do not give in to begging or threats, and if he does force you, call the police. Make sure you go to the ER and they give you the morning after pill. Protect yourself. Good luck to you. I believe you can get away. It will be difficult at first, but I suspect that you will thrive once you are out of there. Girl, I don't know what to say. I'm speechless. If it were something that you chose for your life, but it isn't. You didn't have the opportunity to make a choice. I have no idea what it feels like. I'm not from your country, so I have no idea what might help, but try to go to a shelter house or something. To build your independence you need a job, money to support you. I just hope everything will be alright for you. You deserve freedom, love, and happiness. Is better do it now and face the consequences of your family/husband/friends than live a whole life with no meaning for you. Wish you the best.